We are watching very closely the reaction to everything we're hearing from the Middle East after that Iranian strike, the strike on Iran from Israel. You could see this morning that the futures have pulled back substantially. Dow futures are off by over 500 points this morning. The NASDAQ indicated down by about 310. The S&P futures off by 70. And this is coming as we had been looking at positive issuances from the U.S. stocks. We were looking yesterday at the stocks up across the board once again. You had the S&P less than 2% from an all-time high. But if you look at the futures this morning on a percentage basis, you'll see the Dow's off by about 1.2%, the S&P down by close to 1.2% as well, and then the NASDAQ off by about 1.5%. Treasury yields this morning are weaker for most of the yield curve. The 10-year is at 4.35, the 2-year's at 3.90, the 30-year at 4.84 this morning, and then you have oil prices, which spiked as much as 14% yesterday. Initially on this news, you can see that Brent is above $75 right now. It's up by 8.25%. WTI close to $74 a barrel. It's up by 8.5% too, and we will continue to follow the fallout in the markets, but also everything that's happening from a geopolitical perspective.
Here's the latest updates on Israel's attack and Iran's response. Israel said 200 of its fighter jets participated in the attack targeting nuclear facilities, ballistic missile factories, and Iranian military commanders. Iran's Revolutionary Guard said its top commander was in fact killed. According to an Israeli military official, the country has shot down many of the more than 100 drones that Iran launched in response to the attack. Israel's military said it was forced to act based on new information showing that Iran was approaching the point of no return, and some conjecture just days away, apparently, in developing a nuclear weapon. Iran's Atomic Energy Organization saying parts of a key uranium enrichment facility were damaged, but no nuclear radiation has occurred at this point. This all comes as U.S. and Iranian officials are scheduled, Ambassador Witkoff, to hold a sixth round of talks on Iran's nuclear program this weekend in Oman.
President Trump just posting on Truth Social in the last couple of minutes. Here's what he had to say there. I gave Iran a chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it, but no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told, that the United States makes the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world by far, and that Israel has a lot of it, with much more to come, and they know how to use it. Certain Iranian hardliners spoke bravely, but they didn't know what was about to happen. They are all dead now, and it will only get worse. There has already been great death and destruction, but there is still time to make this slaughter, with the next already planned attacks being even more brutal, come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it is too late. God bless you all. This is something where yesterday President Trump was talking and was saying he hoped it wouldn't happen. There were clearly moves or indications that this might happen by the removal of U.S. embassy personnel in the Middle East, specifically in Baghdad, and people had asked about that. The United States, to this point, has tried to say that it was not involved with this and that any strikes should not be taken, or any retaliatory strikes should not be taken on American assets in the Middle East. But obviously, a lot still circulating about this, and questions about who knew and how, because you had to.
We probably knew, but it doesn't mean we were involved.
Or that we were.
And Israel, obviously, is a sovereign nation that has a right to defend itself. Right. And a nuclear-armed Iran, they've said for years, it's something that can't be allowed to happen.
A nuclear-armed Iran that has said that the death and destruction in Israel is its goal. For more on
the most recent back and forth we saw, remember, Iran did respond to Israel, and it was almost looked like it was 6 months ago.
Intentionally to not
really
cause any.
Now, was it intentional, or do they have the ability? With the Iron Dome,
they said it was. They knew this was coming, but
it was almost.
They were given a little bit of advance warning, maybe.
But Iran, it almost looked like Iran knew they had to do something, but didn't. hesitate to say their heart wasn't in it, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. They said, we're done. We're not going to do anything else. Now, do they have the capacity to do much worse? I guess they probably do. But I think Israel, as the president just said, Israel's got a lot of U.S.-made weapons, and they know how to use them.
He said at that point, and more to come, which does suggest that the Americans would support Iran in their defense. That has been one of the questions. Would the U.S. and other countries come to Israel's defense before these retaliatory strikes happen?